Hi, and welcome to another episode of Honest AF with me, Daniela Clark.
And me, Barbara Ann Wild.
Honest AF show. I always get that wrong somehow.
Well, we are Honest AF.
Yeah,
We are the Honest AF show as
Honest
well.
AF show, and welcome to our new studio setup over here that is very exciting to us because we, for the past few years that we've been doing the podcast, I've been asked to do a YouTube channel. And as much as we've tried and tried, we couldn't pull it together.
Even with Gilby and Frankie being our IT people trying to help us in every which way possible.
Yeah.
Just, it's not as easy as it looks, folks.
It's not.
No.
But we finally decided to hand it over to the professionals.
Yes.
And so we are in a studio with our logo up and everything. It's very exciting.
Very exciting.
What will be even more exciting is if they put like a filter over this.
And you know what's so funny? I'm usually the one that hates to do the photo shoots and hates to do all the, I'm like, I signed up for a podcast, Daniela. That's like radio. I have a face for radio. I'm good with that. But you're always making us do all these things. But I kind of like being on camera as far as video goes, which you do not like.
I do not.
But I just feel like you get more of the vibe. So I understand why people like it. So
I get it too.
Yeah.
I think the thing with you, why you don't like pictures, is you don't like to stop and pose and think about your pose.
Yeah, because I guess maybe, yes.
Because you're not used to that, where I'm used to that.
Well, I mean, it's what you've done your whole life. So,
so I'm used to that part. What I don't like is to be on camera because I know how to I know my angles.
Right.
I know how to hold my face.
You know my angles.
And
I have to say,
I know your angles
every
too.
time I have a good picture of me, I'm like, oh, Daniela took that picture. I said to Zach, I go, how come you don't know my angles, but Daniela does? He's like, whatever.
I know. It's so funny because with our guys, I saw some meme on Instagram that was so spot on.
What?
It was about when this guy did it of when his wife asks him to take a photo.
Yeah.
And she goes, here, honey, take a photo of me, and then she poses and she's got her ass out and her tits out and all this stuff, and she's got her her pout going and everything, and he takes a photo and she goes back and she looks at it, she goes, oh my God, I look horrible, what did you do? You didn't get this, you didn't get that, try to do this, for some reason every time Gilby takes a picture of me, it's the worst photo.
Exact same.
And I don't know what it is, but I think that they just Gilby sees me a certain way, very purely, when he looks through the lens, he thinks I'm pretty no matter what.
He sees the crocheting part of you. I will never, ever believe that you crochet. I actually have to see you do it to believe it.
Not only do I crochet,
you bake, you cook, people do not understand what's going on underneath that package that's going on.
I'm just an old lady. But
so funny.
I mean, the crocheting thing, I got to say, though, is the most relaxing knitting.
That I can
love
understand that. I
it's
can
so
definitely
relaxing.
understand that.
You just you have something to do that is not, you don't have to think about. It's just so relaxing, just like all the mindless television that I watch.
It
relaxes me.
I think the only thing I do like that is reading, and I doodle. But I mean, I'm not an artist by any stretch of the imagination, but I do doodle a lot.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, it's called me out and divulged my identity many times with my kids. Like one time.
What are you drawing, dicks?
No. But actually, I was talking about working for Rod Stewart last time we did our last podcast, and he is infamous for doing that. Yeah. But no, I doodle like flowers or geographic geometric shapes or whatever.
I do that too.
And it's so funny because Haley Ray was.
Do you mainly doodle when you're on the phone? I doodle when I'm on the phone.
Absolutely when I'm on the phone.
Or in a meeting. in a meeting?
Anytime that
focus?
yes, I doodle all the time, and it's most of it's like unconsciously, like I'm not even consciously doing it.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because Haley Ray was, I guess,
You're conscious.
Non-consciously, subconsciously, yeah. So Haley Ray was really little, and she had lost a tooth, and I don't know if I told this story on the podcast before. I think I've told you the story, but so funny. Humor me if I told you to you already. But she, like, when the tooth fairy would come, I would generally give them money, like, whatever. And she would always set traps for me as a child. Like, she was so smart and just, like, very clever. But she really believed. So that's why it wasn't like she wasn't being mischievous. She just... She
believed in the tooth fairy.
I go to get her tooth from under her pillow one night, and she was really little, like 5 or 6 or whatever. And there's a note for me with the tooth. Dear Tooth Fairy, I know your magic. I know that you could give me a Pokeball. That's when she was really into Pokemon. Instead of money. May you please give me whatever Pokeball it is. So I was like, are you kidding me? It's like Sunday night. 1 a.m. I'm like, this is great. I can't go to Toys R Us. I'm like, this is gonna just ruin everything. So I write a little note, and I had gift cards, like little gift cards that I would save up for when they'd have birthday parties to go to or whatever. And I had like a $25 gift card for Toys R Us, and I put it under her pillow, and I said, "Dear Haley Ray, even the Tooth Fairy can't go to Toys R Us on a Sunday night. Here's a gift card. Please go and let your mommy and daddy take you and get whatever Pokeball you want. Love, the Tooth Fairy." And I subconsciously drew a little flower at the bottom of my signature, and I went purposefully out of my way to use a different handwriting so she wouldn't be let on. She comes downstairs the next morning, and she takes the gift card and the note, and she puts it on the table, and she goes, "You blew it. Yep, you blew it." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And she goes, "You are the Tooth Fairy." And I said, "No, what would make you say that?" And she goes, "Because the Tooth Fairy makes those same stupid flowers that you do." I was like, oh my God. I totally outed myself.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, so I doodle.
Oh my God. That's hilarious. That's such a funny story.
She would always do things like under the Christmas tree, the night of Christmas Eve. "Santa, can you bring me this whatever?" She was into Rudolph, and Clarice was the girl, Rudolph, the girl reindeer. "I just want a Clarice doll. That's all I want." I'm stitching and making a little stuffed animal of myself under the tree that night. I mean, just crazy stuff.
Kids always used to make us do crazy things.
Anyway, so
I did the same.
But I still need to see you crochet because I haven't witnessed it in person.
I knit. I love to knit.
Excuse me, knitting.
Yeah, I love it so much. It's so damn relaxing. It's so great. But yeah, I love to read books, watch mindless TV, walk the dogs. I mean, I do very simple, stupid things.
Yeah.
But
create ad campaigns for multi-gazillion-dollar corporations. Yeah, you just do mindless things.
Most of the time.
Created the best jeans that ever were.
Most of the time. Speaking of which.
Oh.
I think I'm going to do another denim line.
Please.
Yeah,
and I'm speaking for me and everyone who listens to our show, especially the men, because they had to have appreciated your jeans. I mean,
I got more love letters and thank you notes from men than I did from women.
150%. Zach used to always say to me, especially the ones that you did without pockets.
Yeah.
To him, the low riding jeans without pockets, he's like, I'm all about it. He's like, why don't you ever wear those jeans? I'm like, Zach, I've I wore them so much that they're in like tatters.
It's
I'm like,
so funny
Daniela's got to do
because
another line.
Now that, from years of doing Frankie B.
Yeah.
Now I know that it's such a big part of my identity, but it was so long ago now.
Right.
When I started Frankie B, that was in 1999.
I know.
So now what I'm getting, and it's
your 25th anniversary. You have to do it.
It is. You're right. Oh my God, you're right. It is. I didn't even know that.
Yes.
But
I am a mathematician, so I was able to.
You are. But what's funny is that now a lot of the girls that used to wear my jeans, the women that used to wear my jeans, their daughters are now
100%
asking for the jeans.
Yeah.
I've got like Jillian. Jillian sent me a text, who we've had on the show.
I love Jillian.
Jillian Reynolds or Jillian Barbary. I don't know. Has she gone back to her?
Has she?
I don't know. But anyway, I digress.
It's Ask Jillian, so I've not paid attention, but I love her.
She was talking about us the other day. I was watching her Instagram Live.
Just adore her.
We were chit-chatting back and forth on Instagram Live.
Talk about honest AF.
Oh, God.
Nobody more honest AF than Jillian.
Yes, she's amazing. And she's so much fun. We got to have her back on the show. But she was texting me saying that her daughter, Ruby, who's 17, wants to go through my old archive of denim. She's like, can she go through your archive?
Great.
She loves Frankie B jeans. She's been wearing all my old ones, and she's looking for this one specific pair. And I keep getting these
interesting.
These friends of mine with their daughters that are looking for older Frankie B jeans. It's so funny.
Yeah.
But, you know, I sold the company so many years ago. I sold Frankie B back in 2011.
I was going to say, because I met you, we started our friendship right around the time when you were like finishing up. You were finished up with Frankie.
Well, because I sold it in 2011, but I had to stay on as
a couple years, right?
As a consultant and as a designer for 4 years.
So I had met you because I always go by Sabbath. Sabbath was born in
3 years because I ended my contract in 2014. So
because Sabbath was just turning 2. When that's how I always know how long we've been friends, because he was born in 2012. So it makes
that makes sense. Right as I was
2014.
Exiting. Because I was contractually obligated to stay on board for 3 years, and that was
it's time. You need to do another denim line.
I do need to get back in, and
I'm excited.
I just want to. I don't know. I feel like my veins pump indigo, and I just want to get back into doing a jeans line. And I think the collaboration that I did with Frankie with Forever 21,
it kind of got it going.
It got me going again. Yeah. So
that's great.
Yeah. So I'm excited to get back into.
I'm so
saddle,
excited because I already am, putting in my orders.
I'm excited about it.
I'm like, every time you have that one pair of jeans that you said you did a one-off and you never made them.
The
thin
ones.
denim, the baggy ones, but they're so flattering. I want those jeans in the worst way. I'm like, I've not been able to find anything that's even close to
Coming
it.
soon. Miss Barbara Ann Wild coming soon.
I'm not only speaking for me.
I'm really stuck though. I don't know what to name the brand. I've been stuck on that. I've been kind of stuck on like, what do I want to name it? And I don't know. I mean, some people are like, and a name of a brand is so important.
Well, you're synonymous with Frankie B, so I absolutely think
I can no longer use the name Frankie B because I sold the brand.
Understood, but I think that there's something like your name needs to be
My name is
infused in there
so not
somewhere.
exciting though,
Beautiful
Daniela
name.
Clark. I don't know.
It's a beautiful name.
I don't know. I don't know what to do with it. So I'm struggling with that part, with the name of the brand. I know what the brand looks like. I've already designed it, but I don't know what I want to name it. So
maybe some of our listeners. Hey, if you guys have any suggestions,
any ideas, send them
DM
my
us.
way, please. Yeah, come on, be a part of it. Let's come up with a name for the brand. Because
I'll ask Zach. He's actually brilliant with that.
Yes, let's ask Zach. But it's going to be
Zach,
something
it'll be something X-rated. So
yeah.
probably.
For sure, it's going to be something sexual, X-rated,
something pornographic. But yeah.
I think when we were naming our podcast, what did he want to name it? Like the two sluts from
I don't know. But
the 80s.
He's always sending me these memes, and he's like, "You and Daniela need to use this for ads for the Honest AF show." And it's like always some girl like unzipping her shirt or unbuttoning her vest, and her boobs just like unleash themselves or something. Or like Zach. Yeah, okay, we're gonna do that. We're on it.
I just remember we were trying to name the podcast, and he was like, two whores from...
two sluts.
Yeah.
All kinds of...
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it's a good idea to go to Zach for the name of the brand.
Two married sluts that have been married for 70 years to combine.
Yeah, I don't think we need that. But yeah, so I've been kind of busy doing that.
So exciting.
The house is almost done. And
Again,
it looks
so exciting.
It looks amazing. I can't wait for you to see the bathroom.
I cannot wait.
The bathroom looks insane. Wait till you see the bathtub. Oh my gosh. And Barb, I just soak in it. And it's divine.
I'm like,
the new bathtub's amazing. It just, I don't know. Now I'm like looking at it differently and going, oh.
Get that denim line out so you could stay in that house, please.
Yeah, I was like,
you're not going to want to
move. Do I really want to move now? And I'm like, damn, it looks so amazing.
No, you know what you did? A lot of people when they're getting a house ready to sell, they'll just do whatever they think is going to entice someone to buy it.
Yeah.
And you were true to yourself and still did something that granted, you're a designer, so aesthetically pleasing would be what you love would be most likely something that people would love anyway. I would think that people would be super excited to have you design their kitchen or their bathroom. But I will say that you were so true to yourself and stuff that you would love that I think it would be very hard to leave it because
it's going to be so hard to leave it.
It's great.
But I will say it was really difficult to do because, like you said, I wanted to be true to who I am, but also take into account that if we're going to sell the house, it's not for us.
Right.
It's for someone else. So I wanted it to be something that would be more received openly than if it was ours.
Understood.
And also wanted to be true to the roots of the house because the house is a Mediterranean house. And so you want to keep the lines of the house.
Agreed.
You don't want to make the kitchen or the bathroom too modern and then it clashes with the rest of the house because the house is Mediterranean looking.
Totally.
So there's a lot of things to kind of take into account. And I definitely did like second guess myself on a million things and back and forth. And
it was a huge
so
difficult
undertaking. And then once you start one little thing in your house,
I know
everything else starts to look shabby because you start to put in new fixtures, new this, new paint, new that. Then you're like, oh, now the
floor needs
now
to
the
be
floor needs it. Now the living room looks shabby. Now the couch needs to be replaced. Like everything you start to look at everything differently because it's not cohesive anymore.
Right.
But one of the things that I've settled with is that no, I don't need to replace my furniture. No, I don't need to do all this stuff because if we're going to sell the house,
it's not going to be
there anyway. We're going to probably empty out all of our furniture and either have it staged or have it be empty.
Right.
So that people can really walk in with an open mind and see
and envision themselves in the house. I actually love what you did because I love my favorite decor is always a mixture of, well, for me, it's Asian antiques and modern or contemporary furnishings. I love the mix of the old and the new. Yeah. And I think you were able to do that where it works. Yeah. It doesn't look like you put a remodeled kitchen in a house that's 40 years old, Mediterranean. Like you did a beautiful job. I think it's really everything's very rich. It's beautiful.
It's definitely challenging and I have to keep that in mind constantly in the back of my mind. You know, I don't want to put in hardware that's too modern. I don't want to put in fixtures that are too modern. They're not going to go with the house.
Right.
So I try to mix it, and it's kind of the way I dress too. I love high and low.
Me too.
So
Me too.
You know, I might have a Gucci purse, but I'm wearing H&M pants.
Agreed.
Or I'm wearing a vintage jacket. So I love mixing.
Me too.
All that kind of stuff. I love mixing.
I think there is nothing more boring than head to toe designer.
Oh yeah.
It's like, where are you in that?
Yeah.
You're not in there.
And anybody can get that.
But if you do the mixture of high and low or vintage and new, your signature, who you are, is really a part of it. So I think I think you did a really great job in the house doing that because you walk in and it still feels like you, but it's modern and updated, but it's true to the Mediterranean architecture of the house. I love it. I think it's beautiful.
Thank you. I can't wait for you to see the bathroom. But it's funny because when we started the podcast this morning, our new engineer, Kevin, asked us, what is it like to be married to a musician?
Oh,
Is it
yes.
hard or is it easy?
Right.
And I will say
That's why you were chuckling.
yeah, I will say that one of the difficult parts about remodeling the house was having two creatives.
Oh,
Both Gilby and I, being creative people, we both had our ideas of what we wanted.
right.
It wasn't like, oh, you're the woman, just do whatever, or you're a designer, you do whatever. No, he had a very strong opinion
It's
about
interesting,
what he wanted.
but Gilby is extremely creative, but he's very practical.
Yeah.
You and I tend not to be practical.
He's also a perfectionist.
Oh,
Gilby is a perfectionist.
yeah.
So he likes certain things to like align or be a certain way, where I love imperfection.
I do too.
I
Zach
love
loves
imperfection.
symmetry. I like things asymmetrical.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
like even when we did that, when we were picking out the stone and the tile, I like things that are not shiny, that are honed,
Me
that
too.
that have imperfections.
Me too.
I like for the tile to be all different. All the tiles have to be different shades of that
Yes.
color.
Yeah.
They shouldn't all be the same. Like there were little
I agree with you on that.
moments like that where him and I kind of struggled because we both have these ideas on what the creative should look like.
Right.
So Kevin,
Yeah.
our answer to you is that there are ups and downs, as in any marriage
Absolutely.
and in any relationship in general. There's always ups and downs. But I think like one of the things that I love about our relationships, being married to musicians, the perks are amazing. I mean, the perks are great.
Just the travel.
The travel alone,
Yeah.
because if you love to
Yeah.
travel and if you love to have adventures, this
Yes.
life is a full-on adventure. Every morning you don't know what you're going to wake up to.
No, it's true.
It is a constant
Zach
adventure.
said that. I mean, he says it every day, pretty much, in a context or another. But when we were in Italy, he's like our life, like from this little town in Jersey where we grew up to this, like, how did I'm like, thank God for your hands, like, you know, your hands brought us here, you know.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I think that's so. It never gets lost on us.
No.
I feel like I always appreciate it. I think it's so incredible.
Me too.
When like even just on the weekend when we went on that motorcycle trip to Monterey, because he was doing the national anthem on guitar, and he
Right.
oh, I have to tell you, Zach will appreciate this. So they had asked him to play the national anthem.
Yeah.
And he's done that several times. He did the
Right.
national anthem for, he did it at Staples for the Clippers game. He's done hockey games. He's done a lot of different national anthems, and he always loves to do the Jimi Hendrix version on guitar.
Right.
He doesn't sing it, which, by the way, the press lately about that country singer that
she said she was drunk.
She
I
said
didn't
she
see
was.
it.
She did the national anthem, and they said that it. I mean, it's such a heavy responsibility to do the national anthem because
Zach has sang it before for New England Patriots game.
it's intense.
Zach did
because
a cappella.
everyone knows
Yeah.
that song, and there's these, and it's a difficult song to
Got to start
sing.
low.
Yes, it's very difficult to sing, and you've got these highs and these. It's hard.
Well, Zach said when he sang it for the Patriots game, and his dad was still alive, and his dad is a World War II vet, went and with him to hear him sing it.
Right.
And Zach said the most difficult thing is, especially when you do it in a football stadium, is the echo.
Yeah.
Because you can't get lost on hearing yourself. You're delayed about 4 seconds, so you'll lose. You just have to focus in on what you're singing.
Well,
because if you try and listen, then you're doomed.
this poor girl, I mean, they have been ripping her from one end to the other.
I've seen the footage.
I saw it. I heard it.
not.
I heard it. But you know, it was rough. She admits that it was rough. She said that she was drunk and you know, whatever. But it's a very difficult thing to do and very nerve-wracking. And as much as these guys have played, and you want to get that right.
Right.
And so he went to go do it, and then right before he goes on to play. First of all, it wasn't his guitar. They gave him a different guitar, and that can throw them
without a doubt.
And then they came up to him and they said to him, "You have to do this under a minute."
Oh, so we had to do it
in a minute, like really fast, because he had it down to 2 minutes and 30 seconds, I think, on the Jimi Hendrix version.
Yeah,
but
because of the dive bombs and all that.
Yeah, he couldn't do it because he had.
You have to play it straight.
He had to make a split-second decision to get it done. No, he didn't play it too straight, but he only could do so much
to get through the whole thing
in a minute.
Yeah,
under a minute.
Wow.
And then all of a sudden, the minute he was done,
they pulled him out.
It pulled him out, and then the motorcycles are just vroom, 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 going past. It was incredible.
Wow.
It was such a cool thing to witness.
Exciting,
but
though.
I stood there, and I was watching him do it, and I'm standing on the side of this big racetrack, and I'm watching this, and the moment wasn't lost on me.
That's
where
great.
I was going with it. I was like, wow, this is so cool. I've got to do some really cool stuff because of this guy.
Agreed.
I've got to experience and witness like really cool things that most of the time you wouldn't get an opportunity to witness. And then, they invited us to ride in the pace car, and we didn't get to do it. And you know why?
Why?
Barb.
Your shoes weren't appropriate.
Why do you know me so well?
I know, because I'm always getting vetoed because of my shoes.
God, you know me well. So I was wearing, of course, idiot, goes to the racetrack in 6-inch high heel, knee-high boots, because we're riding on the motorcycle. So, they say you dress for the motorcycle, for the road. You don't dress for the occasion or the weather.
Right.
So I was wearing these huge boots, and they had this part of the track in Monterey. It's Moto America. It was in the Laguna Seca.
Okay.
So part of the cool thing about the Laguna Seca race is they have this part of the track is called the corkscrew.
Oh.
And it winds like all crazy, like a
corkscrew.
Like a corkscrew. And the bikes are going over, they take the corner.
Oh, wow.
It's completely sideways. Their knee is touching the ground. Oh, my God, it's hair-raising. But if you hike up this hill, this really steep hill, and watch it from above, you can see the whole track, and you can see the corkscrew and everything.
View.
Yeah, you get like this aerial view, and it's super cool. So we wanted to, of course, do that. So we went up there, and listen, I'm number one, obviously not as young as I used to be. And number two, everyone that listens to this podcast knows that I have back and hip issues and everything else. And of course, I'm in these fucking hills from hell. And I'm looking at this hill that I've got to trek up this hill. So we go up there, and and it's hot. And I'm exhausted, and I'm melting. And I thought
your sunglasses are sliding.
I thought I was going to drop dead. And of course, I don't want to act like the old lady that I am and say that I'm hurting.
Or you don't want Gilby to get pissed. Why'd you wear those shoes? That's my issue with Zach.
You don't want them to say, why'd you wear those shoes?
I'll have blisters all over it, and I won't say a word because Zach will say to me, I already asked you about those shoes, and you told me they were comfortable. I can't tell you the amount of times he's carried me from the bottom of somewhere to the top. And then for me, it's worse going down.
Oh,
I even thought that coming into this podcast studio is stairs all the way up. I'm like, I'm good going up. But now when I go down, I'm going to hang on to me. Looking at going, oh, shit.
Well, so exactly right.
So I knew it was your shoes. It's always the shoes.
We get a call. Gilby gets a call from the guy, the promoter that put the whole thing together, and he goes, come back down to the track. We're going to put you and Daniela in the pace car. And I was so excited to do it. But then I looked at the hill going down, and I went, oh, for fuck's sake, I'm not going to make it down there in time. Gilby goes, we have to hurry. We've got 2 minutes to get down the hill. And I said, Gilby, I can't. I physically can't move myself fast enough down that hill. And so they even got us a cart. We had to take a cart because it was so ridiculous. I had to take a cart, one of those like little, golf carts to take us down the hill because I looked at the hill, I looked at myself and I said, self, you are not going to be able to walk after this. Just get in the fucking cart and pretend like it's not your fault.
That's hysterical.
And just go down back to the track. But by the time we got back down to the track, getting in the cart and everything, we missed it. So we couldn't get in the pace car because of my stupid heels.
So, Kevin, the real question is not what's it like being married to musicians? It's like poor musicians being married to us.
We're nightmares. We're absolute nightmares. But yeah, it was so much fun though. And yes, we get to do amazing things. We get to go on tour. We get to see places that only most people can only dream about seeing and dream about doing. And, we get to go in like such luxury.
Totally.
Private planes and first class. I mean, there's things that we get to do that are just outrageous. And it never.
Police escorts.
Yes.
Running right up to a plane, not even having to go through anything. And
getting thrown out of hotels because the queen is arriving.
We've gotten thrown out of hotels for many reasons. Zach's arriving.
Several reasons.
He's been banned. Sharon had him banned for a long time from Four Seasons hotels because he was misbehaving.
We got banned from the Four Seasons hotel too. Yeah. It was a band thing. But the band got banned.
Yes.
And
I never thought about that. I wonder if that's why they call it bands.
Oh my God, did we just stumble on a
You
theory?
may have.
Did we?
That's incredible.
Did you get banned because of the name bands?
Honestly, that's hysterical. But
Barb, you are a marketing genius. You really are something else sometimes. That Zach Wilde is a genius marrying you.
He had no idea what he was getting into.
He's going to work for the rest of his life.
My family.
But yeah, so it never gets lost on us that it is
never,
incredible.
Ever.
It is incredible. But
Even
there are downsides too.
Last night we were sitting in the Adirondack chairs on our front lawn, and Zach was like, "I'll never get over having this house. Like just this. It's not so much our house. We have a ranch. It's not anything like." Outrageous or anything. It's just we have 10 acres and we're up in the mountains and literally 360-degree views. And sometimes we're just like, I don't even know how we found this house. Last night he was like, can you even believe our life sometimes? And I was like, no.
I know. I feel that way a lot. I actually, in the morning when I wake up and I go upstairs and
Before Gilby wakes you up with his eating cereal?
Yes. Before he starts clanking his bowl with his spoon and kicks in my misophonia, which, by the way, the other day we had a whole thing about it. But wait. I get up in the morning, I walk up the stairs, and the way the sun comes in through our skylight and hits the living room.
It's gorgeous.
And I see the view and through our windows because we don't have curtains. And I look and I think to myself, wow.
I know.
We're lucky.
I feel the same way.
We're so lucky. Like, how did these kids that never even graduated high school achieve this life?
Right.
And, our daughter, and we have this amazing life. And we're very lucky.
Yeah, we're absolutely blessed and we know it.
Yeah, we do know. I mean, there are downs. There are downsides to it. Our husbands are never home.
I don't know if that's a downside.
Well, it's an upside for our
that's
marriage.
one of the perks.
But, obviously there's that. They're gone a lot and they miss birthdays and anniversaries. And there are some other fun things that we would like to do that they're not around for. True. So there is that.
That's why we have each other.
Exactly. We are very seasoned vets of being married to these men, to musicians. So we've learned how to make it work and how to make it right.
Right.
And how to make it work for us. But overall, it's a pretty incredible lifestyle. But the downsides are there. Of course, there's you got to deal with girls all the time. Not as much now.
No.
But back in the day, I mean,
Zach was in Ozzy Osbourne, so that's a whole different thing. There aren't that many girls around. there wasn't. I didn't deal with what you dealt with Guns N' Roses. That's a whole
Guns
different
N' Roses
thing.
Had fucking supermodels and
that's
Victoria's Secret models.
I didn't have that. I didn't
on
have that
every
problem.
corner. It was
I had
an
metal
nightmare.
boys that were in puberty that really wasn't an issue.
Yeah, no, we had the band that was in puberty, which was a huge issue.
They're still in puberty.
Yeah. So there are those things, but for the most part, we feel incredibly blessed and lucky. So hope that answers your question.
Yeah, no, I think, I even say this to my kids though too about, I have two that have been married just in the last couple of years, and I always say to them, no matter what relationship you're in, there are no perfect people. We're not perfect people.
No.
And you just have to think to yourself, two things really. One, do you like that person enough to be at some point, I don't care if you're swinging from the chandeliers right now, at some point you will be watching TV with them on the couch.
Yeah.
Is it someone that you like enough to sit for decades on the couch and watch TV?
Yeah.
And then the other thing is like, whatever their idiosyncrasies are, can you forgive them if they forgive yours? Because there are no perfect people. And I have to say that that's one of the things that Zach and I really like each other. And he thinks I'm hysterical, and I don't always find him funny. Everybody else finds him funny. I don't always. But he and I just, we spend more time laughing than ever fighting. So I think that's really important. And
it is important.
I wouldn't change anything about our situation.
I agree. And I think with Gilby and I, we've always had this understanding that you don't do to each other what you don't want done to you.
Right. That's true.
Bottom line, like I always try to put myself in his shoes. Like, how would I feel if he did that to me? Right. Or how would he feel if I did that to him? Or if I treated him that way, or what have you.
That's just an amazing quality that you have as a human being. Because sometimes it is hard to think like, how could certain people do certain things to other people? Yeah. Not even in a relationship. Right. Just like how, like you just have that quality about you, because you're like that with friendships as well, where you really treat people the way you hope to be treated. And you have a bar set and can't go below it, and you can't go, if you go above it, great. But like you treat people a certain way, you should be treated that way back, at least, Yeah. I think that's a beautiful quality to have.
Yeah, well, we try. We do our best. But the other day, I was talking to Gilby about how some marriages after time become sexless. I had read something about some statistic about how many marriages are completely sexless.
Right.
And Gilby goes, I don't think I like you too much. I don't like you enough to not have sex with you. I was like, excuse me? What was that? Did you hear that? I mean,
that's hysterical.
That is so insulting.
That's funny. But I get what he's saying. I completely understand.
Like, sometimes, Gilby, your honesty can sound kind of mean. But speaking of which,
yes,
have you heard about? Okay, because we touched on my misophonia.
Okay,
and, I have really bad misophonia, which is, if you don't know what it is, look it up. But it's a hatred of sounds. I hate sounds. I hate all bodily sounds, like breathing, smacking your lips, eating.
Specifically Gilby's breathing.
Anybody's, really. Anything repetitive sets me off, like the dog in the studio. This
and you've got
so
dogs,
nice about
the
this.
breeds of dogs that you have. It's hysterical.
The bulldogs, and they all breathe heavy, and they all
breathe.
snore.
They can't breathe. Yes. So you have all their little...
They snore, they lick their balls, the sounds of my life.
I can't hear, so I don't have that problem.
You're so lucky. And of course, I'm cursed with bionic hearing. On top of it all, I have bionic hearing like a fly. I mean, there could be a noise in the other room, and I'm like, hoo-ha. But I was talking to one of my girlfriends the other day, and she was saying that her husband told her that she snores.
Oh.
Have you heard about hostage tape or tape for your mouth?
No.
That was my face too. I made the exact same face. Complete shock. I was like, wait, what are you talking about?
What do they do? They tape the person's mouth shut?
Barb.
That's horrible. We do not advocate that on a
Barb,
stay-up show.
Barb, it's a real thing. It's a real thing. I looked it up. So they sell, you know how you can get breathe rights for your nose?
Yeah.
So a lot of people say that
And
they
boob
don't.
tape. And
Yeah, boob tape to stop the wrinkling for your boobs when you're sleeping on your side. Tape
You
for your
brought
nose
me
to
that
stop
amazing
snoring.
Skims tape for when you can't wear a bra.
Yeah, when you can't wear a bra.
They tape people's mouths
Okay,
shut?
so there's this tape, and I looked it up, and one of the brands is called hostage tape, which I found offensive.
That's horrible.
Horrible. But if you look it up, like they sell it on Amazon and everywhere, people put tape. They tape their mouth shut because when you fall asleep and you fall asleep with your mouth hanging open, your mouth goes open. If you sleep on your back, your mouth is open, and that's when you snore. So you put tape over your mouth, keep your mouth shut, so you don't snore.
Wow.
Barb.
And her husband was going to do that to her?
She's voluntarily doing it because she doesn't want to snore, because she said now she's so self-conscious that when
just
she
needs
snores,
to sleep with her head up.
When she snores, it wakes her up because she's so self-conscious on it.
Well,
so now she's putting. He doesn't care. He doesn't have misophonia.
One other beautiful, lovely gifts that we get during menopause or perimenopause is sleep apnea and snoring.
Gorgeous,
and
absolutely stunning.
It's not only then for women though. More, it's also weight gain is the number one reason
why people snore.
People snore. And a lot of times, if you'll go for sleep studies, they'll say, you lose 5, 10, 20 pounds, you'll never have that issue again. And I know of several people that never snored in their entire life until they've gained weight. And the ENTs will tell you all the time, lose weight, and then if it's still happening, we'll do a sleep study. And it's just because of when everything gets thicker and you're breathing, it doesn't. It's more of a positioning thing, and that's why a lot of times if you try and move somebody when they're snoring,
to their side,
or if someone's been drinking, they never snore except for when they're drinking. It's because of the way they fell asleep. Their head's in a weird position or whatever.
Right.
But that is horrible. Hostage tape. Do you know how many people are going to get really bad ideas just from the name of that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean,
I know a few singers that were known to do that before there was a thing called hostage tape. I can't even imagine what they would do with something called hostage tape.
It's a thing. It's a real thing. I couldn't believe it. I went up. I was like, I got to find out about this. This is crazy. So I went on Amazon and I found it. Tape for your mouth.
That's crazy.
Isn't it?
What man designed it? It has to be a man designed thing because it must have been to shut somebody up from talking.
But it's mainly for men. Because men snore, but there's pictures of a girl with tape on her mouth.
That's like S&M, pornographic, horrible, masochistic,
but I think you wake up in the middle of the night and it's like a horror show.
It's scary. That is awful. I can't even imagine who would think of that. And then did they go on Shark Tank to get green lighted? Who green lighted that product?
I don't know.
Is it going to get FDA certified? Are they going to start selling it in friggin' sleep apnea doctors' offices? That's hideous. It's horrible.
Hideous, but it's
How
a total
do you find these things? Who are these people that teach you about MILF Manor, mothers dating the sons? I still can't get my head around it. Now.
You're welcome. You're all welcome.
This tape to shut you up.
To shut you up. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hostage tape. Please don't tell Zach about that. When I first started, I'm going to go on with my TMI again, but
oh boy,
when I first started dating Zach,
good thing he doesn't listen to this podcast.
Well, he doesn't ever. Yeah. He always loves the little audio bites that we do,
Yeah.
especially if they're about him.
Oh, yeah.
Then he listens. But
Yeah,
if it's
yeah.
anything else, he's just like, oh gosh, how are you girls doing anyway? A great show. But he
Yeah.
never listens. But when we first started dating, so Zach never really went out of his house from like, I don't know, like 14 or 15 when he first started playing guitar till he started dating me at like 17, 18. He was 17. And he would like be so engrossed with music theory and listening to, bands and on his turntable and learning guitar. He truly didn't turn into Zach Wilde till after Ozzy. Like
Right.
he was a really sweet guy, a very
Is he not so
mellow,
sweet now?
stayed home all the time. He's actually getting sweet again, but
Yeah.
he went through a minute. But
Yeah.
anyway, so he was always home. So I was his first real girlfriend.
Yeah.
So I
He
had like
experimented on you.
all 3 years of staying home and not like all of his puberty was unleashed on me in the
Yeah.
first year of our dating. Comes over to my house one
Hence
day.
why you have a million kids.
Yeah. Well, he also went for Scorpio, so I was a willing partner, believe me. There was
Sure.
nothing.
Oh, we forgot to mention that part of how you keep your marriage together is you show up at the airport in a trench coat with nothing on
or
and
with
a wig.
wigs, or
Yeah.
So all kinds of things. I mean,
Yes.
Zach would have like a whole menu of what he
Yeah.
envisioned me being, and I would run around town and find it. I'd be at Trashy Lingerie right before the airport, almost on every time to LAX. But anyway, so can you believe they're still in business, by the way? Trashy Lingerie.
Oh, I used
It's
to
amazing,
love
right? That
trashy
place is
lingerie.
incredible.
Yeah.
That woman seamstress who would just
Yeah.
like sew things
She
for you
used to
right
make
then
me
and
the
there.
greatest things.
She's
One
incredible.
time I had her made me a pair of pink leather chap shorts.
Oh, I can just imagine you
Can
in
you
them.
imagine?
Hysterical.
I mean, guys, think about it. I was like 19, 20. So it was okay. But now, can you imagine? Pink
I could
little
still see you doing that with a bikini underneath.
chaps, leather chaps with studs all over them. I don't know what
That
was going
woman
on in my
was
head.
a genius.
She
Though.
was
She's
really
incredible.
good. She made me a lot of great outfits.
And then she sent me to a woman on Hollywood Boulevard who made me heels, stilettos.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I have a couple pair that are like 6
All
inches
the
high
stripper heels
before.
were on Hollywood Boulevard.
And but
Playmates.
she made amazing shoes.
Remember Fredericks of Hollywood?
Yeah.
Playmates.
Yeah,
and,
it's a bummer.
Trashy
Most of those
Lingerie.
places are gone.
Yeah.
But Trashy Lingerie is still there. But
I
anyway,
love trashy lingerie. What I love about
Me
it is that
too.
you buy all this expensive lingerie and they give it to you in a brown paper bag.
it's the best. I haven't been in there in so long. We need to make that would be a fun research project for us to do. We should
We
go back.
definitely should, because Gilby complained the other day. He said to me, he goes, I love that you cook dinner every night. You cook me lunch and dinner every night. He goes,
Zach's never said that.
he goes, it's such a perk. He goes, if only you could now add lingerie to when you're doing
So he
that.
wants you to cook in lingerie.
In lingerie and heels. this man, he's got issues.
Yeah, you only get half of it, Gilby. You either get the cook or you get the lingerie and the heels.
Well, my mom always used to say, you got to be a whore in the bedroom and a chef in
Absolutely.
the kitchen.
That's true, but I'm not the chef. There's no way. Fortunately, I have
just
one
a
that lives
big
right up the
whore
hill
in the
from me.
bedroom.
Yeah, that I've got that down. But it was so funny because the first time he came over after band practice one night when we were dating in high school, and he had this like those thin 80s leather tie, and it was like a piano keyboard. And I was like, what are you going to do with that? And he goes, you don't want to know. And I was like, he tied me up into like 50 billion different, and every time he like has to get dressed for some sort of function and he has to wear a tie, I'm like, he's like, Barb, I'm like, no, get away from me with that tie.
So
Because I know
definitely don't show him the mouth
that's the
tape.
only thing you use them for. That's why you don't know how to tie one properly with a knot. We have to get your son to tie your tie, and you just put it over your head and fix it for yourself. But so funny because he was just like out of control.
Yeah. Well, no mouth tape. Don't tell him about it.
No mouth tape. If that was in
don't tell him.
existence then, I'd probably still be trying to get the glue off of myself.
Can you imagine? Oh, my God. Okay, Barb, I have come across something that is so cool.
Okay.
Have you heard of this app called Too Good to Go?
No.
Kevin, have you?
No.
Okay. You're going to learn something new today, and it is pretty amazing.
Okay. I'm excited.
Frankie turned me on to it.
Okay.
So,
Well, then at least it'll be something that won't put us in jail. Okay.
Yes. It's not about mouth tape or anything like that. Although maybe it should be, but I'll tell you. So this app, it's called Too Good to Go.
Okay.
And apparently it's been really, really popular in New York for quite some time now. And it's just come to LA.
Okay.
And basically what you do is you download this app on your phone.
Okay.
And it tells you, it connects you with all the restaurants in your area, grocery stores, bakeries, what have you. And you know how grocery stores, bakeries, and restaurants have fresh food that they prepare daily.
Right.
Well, halfway through the day, that food cannot be carried on till the next day.
Oh.
So halfway through the day, when they're closing up, like bakeries close early, like at 3 o'clock or whatever, and at the end of the day, grocery stores and restaurants have to throw out all the fresh food that they made because they can't sell it as fresh again the next day. They have to make everything
the day
fresh.
old or whatever.
They can't sell anything that's day old. They have to get rid of all their fresh food. Well, this app tells you which restaurant has food for you to pick up.
That's amazing.
So you're doing two things. Number one, you're creating less waste of food.
Absolutely.
And number two, with the cost of food these days, you're saving money. So check this out. They have these surprise bags. So for $5, you pay $5, and it tells you this bakery down the street from your house is selling a surprise bag for $5. And you can go in and pick up a bag of their baked goods for the day. And the bakery closes at 3 o'clock. So they made all these fresh goods in the morning.
Wow, that's so cool.
Early in the morning.
People are genius.
You go there at 3, 4 o'clock. It tells you what time window to show up
Right.
because they're closing. And go pick up whatever leftovers they have.
That's incredible. Too good to go.
Too good to go.
That's brilliant.
The other day, Whole Foods said, we have a bunch of food left over in our deli department that we prepared this morning that we are now closing, so we have to get rid of it.
Wow.
So Frankie went over there, picked up a whole bag of groceries for, I think it was $8.99, a whole bag of groceries, and she got...
That's insane.
She got two meals for dinner for her and her boyfriend, 2 lunches for her and her boyfriend, a charcuterie board of cheese and crackers and almonds and all kinds of snacks. And they filled up this whole bag, and it's all like prepackaged beautifully and nicely and given to you. And for $5, you've got baked goods.
That's so cool. So
Le Pain
smart.
put it in. You know, I'm totally butchering that name, but you know how we always go to Le Pain, Le Pain, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Salads, sandwiches, their baked goods,
Wow.
their breads for $5.
That's killer.
It's
so smart.
cheap. And also, like, even if you don't need the food, it's a great idea. This is what I was saying to Frankie. I'm like, this is so great to go for $5, pick up a bag of
And bring it to
groceries
the
of foods and take it to the unhoused.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So brilliant.
You're
'Cause,
saving.
you know, the FDA and the Board of Health in a lot of places won't let you take like leftovers or food that's been discarded because they don't know if it's safe or whatever. This is brilliant.
It's absolutely brilliant. You're saving wastage. You're not wasting food. You're
That's awesome.
consuming food that otherwise would have been thrown out.
And if you don't cook like me, it's the greatest thing ever.
And so I was like, this is amazing. I have to try it out for myself so I can talk about it on the podcast. So yesterday, because Gilby's got a show tonight, he's playing at the Whiskey, and his drummer, Troy, who also has an amazing podcast, which you can check out, Troy Patrick Farrell. He lives in Vegas, so he flew in and he was staying with us for the night so that they could rehearse and then play tonight.
Right.
So I was like, oh, I should go pick up pastries for all of them for the morning for breakfast. So that's what I did. I went and picked up a box of pastries from the local bakery for $4.99, and they gave me this beautiful box of all these amazing pastries, and the guys were all excited.
Oh my gosh.
Can you believe
that's
that?
Cool.
Yeah, it's kind of a cool thing.
Absolutely download that to my phone.
Yeah.
That is so smart.
It's really clever.
I have not
and
heard of it.
I love clever things like that.
Me too.
And it has like all these different, there's great ways to be, to be helpful. Or
well, the Aquarian, you are an Aquarius, and I have an Aquarian moon. The Aquarius in us, with humanitarians of the zodiac. So, I mean, I know me with my zodiac stuff, and whether you believe it or you don't believe it, but I do believe that you and I both are always on a mission to figure out a way to give back or to help or to that's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's
so
brilliant.
I loved this idea. I just thought it was so great. And
I love that.
yeah,
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Way cool.
Yeah. Anyway.
Thank you, Frankie. That's really
So,
awesome.
all right. So is it times for Flix AF? Okay.
Yes.
So I watched, I don't think I talked about this yet. And if I did, forgive me for repeating myself, but menopause. I blame everything on menopause now. Gilby's like, when is that going to stop? Is menopause going to be over soon? Because you blame literally everything on it.
But no, because then you're postmenopausal and that's forever.
Wait, can I just tell you?
Yes.
I called. Just give me one more second on menopause. One more second.
I'm bringing us back there with my bag of tricks, so go ahead.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, so, we went on this, the motorcycle trip, and I was all excited, and I brought lingerie because Gilby's, been asking me for lingerie. So I was like, okay, I'll bring lingerie. We'll go on this
He's
motorcycle
even called me up and asked me where to get good lingerie for you for your birthday, for Christmas. He's into it.
He loves lingerie. So I packed lingerie, and we went on the motorcycle trip and everything, and I was like, okay, I'll bust out some lingerie for the guy. I got my damn period.
Oh, fun.
And not only did I get my period, but I got it with the worst cramps. I'm sorry, Kevin. Sorry.
You'll learn being male and doing our podcast is not all it's cracked up to be.
It's gonna suck. It's gonna suck for you.
We used the torture Bill.
We actually had a segment for our for our last engineer Phil called Poor Phil. It's gonna have to be poor Kevin now. Yeah, I got my period, and it was so painful and so horrible. So that was miserable. So I called my doctor, my OB, and I said, why the hell am I still getting my period? I'm old. Why is this happening? Shouldn't this stop already? And he said, well, because remember I was having breakthrough bleeding, so they reduced my progesterone. So, I wear the estrogen patch, and then I take the progesterone for the first 10 days of every month.
Oh, that's right.
So he said, when you end the progesterone, you get your period. That's why. Oh. So I was like, okay, whatever. And he's
more
like,
power to you. I'm glad I'm past all that.
Yeah.
I don't have to deal with any of that nonsense.
So that's what's been happening with me, but not
that is not fun.
Cute. Not at all. Yeah,
no.
Whatever.
Not sexy.
Not sexy, not cute, not fun at all, but whatever. So anyway, so that was that. Back to Flix AF. I watched the Celine Dion documentary. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
My heart's so broken with her disease. My goodness. So sad.
It is incredible. I will tell you, the thing that I got from it the most was how hard she works.
Oh, without a doubt.
And her dedication and her...
And having to support her siblings.
Her perseverance and her... like what we just talked about with Zach and Gilby, how they're so disciplined. She's so disciplined because, she's got this disease. I think it's called stiff person's disease.
Yeah.
Where she
breaks my heart.
It's horrible. Horrible.
Isn't that what Mick Mars has?
Yes, I think Mick Mars from Motley Crue has the same thing.
I think it's the same thing.
And it's horrible because it attacks her, and the muscles around her vocal cords stiffen, so she can't sing. And then there's this one terrible scene where she let the cameras roll, where she was having the seizure. She was having a seizure. Yeah. Wow. Where she was convulsing and having a seizure, and it was really scary.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
Heartbreaking, but also really inspiring to see how she is just pushing
She's
through
still
it,
an
and
optimist, huh?
yeah,
Wow, I'm gonna watch
and
it.
she's doing the work, and she is trying to just push through as much as she can. It's really inspiring to see the courage and
Yeah,
determination and the dedication.
right.
And she talks about this, she got this this happened right as she got her residency in Las Vegas.
I remember that.
This
That's right.
huge residency. This is when it happened. And she talks a lot about how when she got sick and had to cancel shows because she couldn't deliver the show that she
Wanted
felt her
to.
audience
Yeah.
deserved from her.
Yep.
She dances, and it's choreography, and it's the singing, and her voice. And she can't sing the way she wants to sing, and she can't move the way she wants to move. And she felt like delivering a show that was less than what the audience deserved to
Yeah.
see, she didn't want to do.
Right.
So she canceled shows, and she talks about how in this day and age of social media, she felt like a prisoner in her home in Vegas, because
Aw.
if she left the house to go to lunch, people would be like, oh, she's not sick, she's fine. Why did she cancel all those shows? And then people are on social media
I
talking
can
about it.
relate.
You know,
with being watching it with Ozzy,
yeah,
because Ozzy would do anything he could to be able to perform, but he
Mhm.
doesn't want to give a subpar performance, and he physically can't walk like he used to, or
yeah,
so it's awful.
yeah. It's really, really sad. So,
Oh,
anyways, that was I would watch it. It's
I
really
will
very
watch it.
interesting.
I'm sure it's going to be hard to watch because it's sad,
Yeah.
but
It is sad, but
God
like I said,
bless her.
it's also inspiring, and it's really very interesting. So,
Wow.
whether or not you're a fan of Celine Dion or her music, it's just a very
It's
interesting.
a human story,
Yeah,
too,
it's a very
right?
interesting
So,
documentary. Right.
Yeah.
So, do we have time to do Barb's Bag of Tricks? No.
I kind of feel like we did do it when we talked about not the tape, but when you talked about the Too Good to Go.
Yeah, there you go.
Like, to
We'll
me,
make that
that's-
as part
yeah,
of Barb's Bag of
absolutely.
Tricks. Okay. Well, I guess this does it for this episode of
Yeah.
Honest AF. I hope you enjoyed the show, and follow us on our socials, Honest AF Show, all across the board. Check us out on YouTube, Honest
Yeah.
AF Show.
And all the
Honest A-
links to our shows are in our Instagram bio as well.
Yes.
Make it easy for people to just click on the links.
Yep. Perfect. Okay.
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye. Have a good one. We obviously need to do a disclaimer here, so we want you to know we are not doctors or experts by any stretch of the imagination. We are just a couple of gals that are looking for magical products, procedures, and experiences. And in our quest, we will share our honest as fuck opinions with you. So please make sure before you try anything we talk about that you know your own restrictions and do so at your own risk. Do not blame us for any of your issues. We're just experimenting too.